Your brain has over 6,000 thoughts every single day. And here's the shocking part. Research shows that the majority of these thoughts are negative, and they keep repeating. That means your own mind is working against you right now, as you watch this. Your brain is probably saying something bad about you or your life. But wait, it gets worse. A study from University College London found that people who think negatively all the time experience faster brain decline over just 4 years. Their memory got worse, their focus got weaker, and their brains actually showed signs of diseases like Alzheimer's. Negative thinking is not just a mood problem, it is a brain problem. This video will change your life. I'm going to show you exactly how negative thinking damages your body. Then I'll give you step-by-step methods to stop it. These are not just nice ideas, these are techniques backed by real science. Universities, brain scans, clinical trials. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete toolkit. You'll understand why your brain does this, and you'll know how to rewire it. Let me reveal the first secret about what happens inside your skull when you think dark thoughts. When you think a negative thought, your brain sends a signal. This signal goes to your adrenal glands. These small organs sit on top of your kidneys. They release a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's stress chemical. Now here's the problem. A major study published in Neurology found that people with high cortisol levels had worse memory, worse organization skills, and worse attention. They tested over 2,000 people. Most were in their 40s. The ones with the highest cortisol, their brains had actually shrunk. They had less total brain volume than people with normal stress levels. Think about that. Your negative thoughts are literally making your brain smaller. The brain shrinkage was especially bad in women, the study found. But everyone with high cortisol had problems. This is where you do things like forget where you put your car keys, struggle to remember a coworker's name you just met, and take way longer to make simple decisions at the grocery store. And it gets worse. Stay with me because in the next few slides, I'll show you exactly which parts of your brain get damaged first, and what you can do about it starting today. Your hippocampus is shaped like a seahorse. It sits deep inside your brain. This small area controls your memory. It helps you learn new things. It helps you remember faces, places, and facts. Research shows that chronic stress and high cortisol levels cause the hippocampus to shrink. Scientists call this hippocampal atrophy. In simple words, your memory center gets damaged. Studies on both humans and animals show that prolonged stress causes neuron loss in this region. This explains so much. This is why when you're stressed and thinking negative thoughts, you do things like walk into a room and forget why you went there, struggle to remember what you read 5 minutes ago, and have trouble recalling important dates or appointments. But here's the good news. Your brain can heal. Scientists have proven that the hippocampus can actually grow new cells. This process is called neurogenesis. Later in this video, I'll show you simple daily habits that trigger this healing process. There's another brain part we need to talk about. It's called the amygdala. This almond-shaped structure handles your fear and emotions. When you sense danger, the amygdala sounds the alarm. The problem? When you think negative thoughts constantly, your amygdala becomes overactive. It starts seeing threats everywhere. A normal email feels like an attack. A friend's joke feels like an insult. Your brain gets stuck in danger mode. This is exhausting. Your body stays tense. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing gets shallow. Excessive cortisol changes the structure of the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex. These are the most important brain regions for clear thinking and emotional balance. Here's what most people don't realize. This damage happens slowly. You don't notice it day by day, but over months and years, the effects add up. In the next slide, I'll explain the loop that keeps you trapped. Scientists have a name for this pattern. They call it repetitive negative thinking, or RNT. A cross-sectional study of 424 older adults found that people with higher RNT had significantly worse cognitive function. The more they replayed bad thoughts, the worse their brains performed. It's a vicious cycle. You think something bad, this raises cortisol. High cortisol damages your brain. A damaged brain has less ability to control thoughts, so you think more negative things, and round you go. This is like when you replay that embarrassing thing you said at a party 10 years ago, when you worry about a conversation that hasn't even happened yet, and when you criticize yourself over and over for past mistakes you can't change. But cycles can be broken. That's exactly what we're going to do. Coming up, I'll share the first powerful technique that interrupts this loop. Scientists have tested it in real clinical trials, and it works fast. Let me introduce you to your prefrontal cortex. This is the front part of your brain, right behind your forehead. It's your brain's control center. This is where you do things like plan your day, decide between two job offers, and think about how your actions affect others. Research shows that negative emotions actually reduce activity in the prefrontal cortex. When you're stuck in negativity, this control center goes offline. You lose the ability to think clearly. You make worse decisions. You can't see the bigger picture. This is why people in negative states often do things they regret. Their thinking brain isn't fully working. They're running on raw emotion instead of logic. The good news? You can strengthen your prefrontal cortex. Like a muscle, it gets stronger with exercise. And I don't mean push-ups, I mean specific mental exercises. Keep watching because I'll teach you these exact techniques. Let's talk about what happens when negativity becomes chronic. Repetitive negative thinking is a core symptom of common psychological disorders. It's linked to depression, it's linked to anxiety, it's linked to many mental health problems. Notice that pattern. The negative thinking comes first, then the disorders follow. A study with over 1,800 participants found that RNT and emotion regulation difficulties mediate the connection between physical activity and depression. This means how you think shapes whether you get depressed. This is actually empowering. If negative thinking causes problems, then changing your thinking can prevent them. You're not helpless. You have more control than you realize. And the research proves this. A study found that thought replacement can reduce worry in people with anxiety disorders. They taught people to swap negative thoughts for any other thought, and worry went down. Let me show you how this works in practice. Here's our first major technique, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT has been extensively researched and found effective for depression, anxiety, eating disorders, and many other conditions. It's been studied since the 1960s, and it works. The basic idea is simple. Your thoughts affect your feelings. Your feelings affect your actions. So if you change your thoughts, everything else changes too. This is like when you think, nobody likes me, you feel sad and avoid people. But when you think, some people like me, you feel okay and reach out to friends. A meta-analysis found that CBT focused on repetitive negative thinking had a strong effect size of 0.76. That means it works really well, better than many other treatments, and the effects last. You don't need years of therapy to use CBT basics. In the next slides, I'll teach you simple CBT techniques you can start using today. These same methods are used in clinics around the world. Step 1 in CBT is awareness. You need to notice your negative thoughts. Many people don't even realize they're having them. The thoughts feel like truth instead of just thoughts. Common negative patterns include mind reading, where you assume you know what others think about you, catastrophizing, where you expect the worst outcome, and black and white thinking, where everything is either perfect or terrible. This is like when your friend doesn't text back and you think, she hates me now, instead of, maybe she's busy. When you make one mistake and think, I've ruined everything, instead of, this is one setback. And when you get criticism and think, I'm a complete failure, instead of, I can improve. Start paying attention. When you feel bad, ask yourself, what thought caused this feeling? Write it down if you can. This simple step creates a tiny gap between you and your thoughts, and in that gap, change becomes possible.
Once you spot a negative thought, question it. Ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence supports this? What evidence contradicts it? Is there another way to see this situation? Research shows that cognitive restructuring promotes positive outcomes in therapy. This just means testing whether your thoughts are accurate. Most negative thoughts fail this test. They're based on assumptions, not facts.
This is like when you think, I always mess up presentations, and then remember 3 presentations that went fine. When you think, everyone noticed my mistake, and realize most people were looking at their phones. And when you think, I'll never get better, but can list 5 skills you've improved at over time. This is a skill. It gets easier with practice. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you challenge negative thoughts, the stronger your reality-checking ability becomes. Keep watching for more techniques. Now let's talk about meditation. Research shows that meditation practice leads to reductions in ruminative thinking. That's the scientific term for going over negative thoughts again and again. And it changes your brain. A 2025 study found that even first-time meditation changes activity in the amygdala and hippocampus. These are the exact brain areas damaged by negative thinking. Mindfulness meditation has been shown to increase cortical thickness and reduce amygdala reactivity. Remember how negative thoughts shrink your brain? Meditation does the opposite. It grows new brain matter. And you don't need to meditate for hours. Research with K-12 teachers found that practicing less than 5 minutes a day for 30 days produced dramatic improvements. They had less depression, less anxiety, better well-being. Let me show you how to start. Here's a basic meditation you can do right now. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes if you want. Focus on your breathing. Notice the air going in and out. When thoughts come, and they will come, just notice them. Don't fight them. Don't judge yourself. Simply observe the thought like a cloud passing in the sky. Then gently return attention to your breath. This is like when you're watching leaves float down a stream. You notice each one but don't try to grab them. Or like when you're sitting at a train station, you see trains come and go without getting on any. That's it. Start with just 2 minutes. Your mind will wander. That's completely normal. The practice is not about having no thoughts. It's about noticing when you drift and bringing yourself back. Each time you do this, you're strengthening your brain's control center. The brain changes from meditation are real and lasting. Studies show that long-term meditation changes how information moves through the brain. It rewires the connections between brain regions. Research on Vipassana meditators showed increased connectivity in the hippocampus, that memory center we talked about earlier. Regular meditation literally protects your brain from the damage caused by negativity. Looking at brain scans, meditation may lead to increases in gray matter density in the hippocampus and frontal regions. More gray matter means more brain power, better memory, better focus, better emotional control. And the effects build over time. 6 to 12 months of practice for 20 to 30 minutes daily can change brain structure. But benefits start appearing much sooner. Even short practices help. Coming up, another powerful technique. Let's talk about exercise. A major review of 218 studies with over 14,000 participants found that exercise is an effective treatment for depression. Walking, jogging, yoga, strength training, they all help. The analysis showed walking or jogging had a Hedges G of -0.62, meaning moderate reduction in depression. This is comparable to medication and therapy, but with fewer side effects. Physical activity is actually 1.5 times more effective at reducing mild to moderate depression, stress, and anxiety than medication or cognitive behavior therapy. Read that again. 1.5 times more effective, and it's basically free. So why does exercise work so well against negative thinking? There are multiple mechanisms. I'll explain them in the next few slides. This information will motivate you to move. When you exercise, your brain releases special chemicals. Endorphins make you feel good. Serotonin regulates your mood. Dopamine gives you motivation and pleasure. A meta-analysis of 49 studies found that exercise increases levels of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. These are the same chemicals that antidepressant medications target, but you're getting them naturally through movement. This is like when runners talk about runner's high, when you feel surprisingly good after cleaning the house, and when a walk in nature lifts your mood even though you didn't want to go. Your brain is designed to reward movement. For millions of years, humans survived by moving, hunting, gathering, escaping predators. Your brain chemistry evolved to make movement feel good. We've just forgotten this in our chair-sitting modern life. Exercise doesn't just release chemicals, it actually grows new brain cells. Research shows that exercise is associated with enhanced neurogenesis in the adult hippocampus, new neurons, new connections, new brain power. Scientists call this BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Doctors describe it as miracle grow for the brain. It helps neurons survive. It helps new ones grow. It strengthens connections between brain cells. Remember how negative thinking shrinks your hippocampus? Exercise does the opposite. Studies confirm that exercise promotes hippocampal growth. You're literally rebuilding the brain region that negativity damages. This is why exercise and meditation are such a powerful combination. Both grow your brain. Both reverse the damage from stress. Together, they create massive positive change. Good news, you don't need to become an athlete. A Harvard study found that just 15 minutes of running daily or 1 hour of walking may reduce depression risk by 26%. That's totally doable. Research shows that between 13 and 36 exercise sessions led to improvements in depressive symptoms. That's roughly 2 to 3 sessions per week for a month or two. You can start seeing benefits fast. Light to moderate intensity may actually be more helpful than intense workouts. You don't need to push yourself to exhaustion. A brisk walk where you can still talk but feel slightly winded is enough. Start where you are. If you're sedentary, even a 5-minute walk counts. Going from completely sedentary to walking every day is where you see exponential gains. Small steps lead to big changes. Let me show you another game-changing technique. Now let's discuss gratitude. This might sound too simple, but science proves it works. Studies found that people who wrote gratitude letters reported significantly better mental health 4 and 12 weeks later. The gratitude writers showed something remarkable. Brain scans revealed greater activation in the medial prefrontal cortex 3 months after they started writing gratitude letters. The effects lasted. Their brains became more sensitive to positive feelings. Gratitude regulates the sympathetic nervous system that activates anxiety responses and conditions the brain to filter negative ruminations. It actually rewires how your brain processes information. I know what you might be thinking, but my life is hard. What do I have to be grateful for? The answer might surprise you. Gratitude isn't about ignoring problems. Let me explain. When you feel grateful, specific brain regions light up. The hypothalamus gets activated. This boosts serotonin and dopamine production. These are your natural, feel-good chemicals. The limbic system, including the hippocampus and amygdala, gets activated with feelings of gratitude. Remember these areas? They're the ones damaged by negativity. Gratitude helps heal them. Research shows that individuals who experience higher levels of gratitude have increased gray matter volume in their brains. More brain matter, better processing, better emotional control. Plus, gratitude reduces levels of the stress hormone cortisol, the same hormone that damages your brain. So gratitude protects you and grows your brain at the same time. Here's how to practice it. Start a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be small, things like a warm cup of coffee, a text from a friend, or sunshine through your window. Be specific. Don't just write family. Write things like, "My sister called to check on me today," or "My kids laugh when I tickled her." Specific details create stronger emotional connections. The mental health benefits of gratitude writing don't emerge immediately, but gradually accrue over time. Don't expect instant miracles. Keep practicing. After 4 weeks, you'll notice changes. After 12 weeks, bigger changes.
You can also write gratitude letters to people. You don't even have to send them. Simply writing the letter provides benefits. But if you do send them, both you and the receiver feel better.
It spreads positivity. Here's the key insight. Gratitude and anxiety cannot coexist in the same moment. When you're truly feeling grateful, you can't feel anxious. They use different brain circuits. Think of gratitude as a competing response. It fills the space that negative thoughts would otherwise occupy. You can't ruminate on problems while genuinely appreciating something good. This is like how you can't clench your fist while your hand is open, how you can't walk forward and backward at the same time, and how you can't inhale while exhaling. Over time, gratitude reduces the brain's automatic tendency to dwell on negativity. The neural pathways for positivity get stronger. The pathways for negativity get weaker. Your brain's default setting shifts toward the positive. Let me teach you another powerful technique: thought replacement. A study found this method reduced pathological worry in people with generalized anxiety disorder. It's simple but effective. When a negative thought appears, you don't try to push it away. Instead, you replace it with any other thought. It can be a memory, an image, a sensation, anything that isn't the negative thought. This is like when a song gets stuck in your head and you sing a different song to replace it. When you're craving junk food and you distract yourself with an activity. And when you can't stop thinking about work, so you call a friend. Research suggests it may not be necessary to challenge the content of negative thoughts directly. You don't need to argue with yourself. Just redirect your attention somewhere else. Simple but powerful. Build a collection of positive thoughts to use as replacements. Think of happy memories, beautiful places you've visited, people who love you, achievements you're proud of. Write these down. When negative thoughts strike, you need quick access to alternatives. Having a ready list makes replacement easier. This is like keeping emergency supplies in your car, having a playlist of songs that boost your mood, and keeping photos of loved ones where you can see them. Your brain follows patterns. The more you practice thought replacement, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, your brain will start doing it without conscious effort. You'll naturally shift away from negativity. Here's something people forget. Your body affects your thoughts. Posture, movement, even facial expressions influence your mental state. When you slouch, breathing becomes shallow. Less oxygen reaches your brain. Thinking gets foggy. Mood drops. Bad posture literally makes it harder to breathe and think clearly. Try this experiment. Sit up straight. Pull your shoulders back. Take a deep breath. Notice how you feel more alert, more confident. Your body is sending signals to your brain. Things are okay. This is like how smiling, even a fake smile, can actually improve your mood. How power poses before an interview can boost confidence. And how taking 3 deep breaths can reduce anxiety instantly. Deep breathing is a secret weapon against negative thoughts. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your body's calm down system. Practicing controlled breathing in a quiet place can gradually reduce stress levels and lower cortisol. Remember cortisol, the brain-damaging stress hormone? Deep breathing fights it directly. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds. Breathe out through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat 4 times. Do this whenever negative thoughts overwhelm you. At your desk, in the car, before sleep. It takes less than 2 minutes, but it interrupts the stress response immediately. Your thoughts will feel less intense afterward. Let's talk about sleep. Research shows that adequate sleep can reduce cortisol levels. When you're tired, your brain's emotional regulation weakens. Negative thoughts become louder. When exhausted, why you might snap at loved ones after a bad night's sleep, and why anxiety spikes when you haven't rested properly. Poor sleep and negative thinking create a vicious cycle. Negative thoughts keep you awake. Lack of sleep increases negative thoughts. You must break this cycle. Aim for 7 to 8 hours. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. Avoid screens before bed. Make your bedroom cool and dark. These basics matter more than any fancy supplement or hack. Humans are social creatures. Research shows that staying socially active is linked with lower risk of dementia. Connection protects your brain.
When you spend time with supportive people, oxytocin releases. This hormone deepens relationships and helps us feel more connected. It counters the isolation that negative thinking creates. This is why calling a friend when you're down helps so much, why group exercise feels better than solo workouts, and why sharing your problems lightens them. Some studies suggest that during exercise interventions, patients seek social support, which reduces loneliness. Combine movement with connection. Walk with a friend. Join a class. The benefits multiply. What goes in affects what comes out. If you constantly consume negative news, violent content, and toxic social media, your thoughts will reflect that. I'm not saying to ignore reality, but be intentional about your information diet. Notice how certain content makes you feel. Does it leave you anxious, angry, hopeless? Maybe you need less of it. This is like how eating junk food makes your body feel bad, how negative people drain your energy, and how certain music can change your mood in minutes. Set boundaries. Limit news to specific times. Unfollow accounts that trigger negativity. Choose entertainment that uplifts rather than disturbs. Your brain absorbs everything you feed it. Spending time in nature reduces negative thinking. Studies confirm that relaxing mental activities like being outdoors help manage stress. Green spaces, water, trees, and open skies calm the nervous system. Urban environments with noise, crowds, and concrete do the opposite. Our brains evolved in nature. They still crave it. This is why you feel refreshed after a hike in the woods, why the sound of waves is so soothing, and why houseplants can lift your mood even in a small apartment. You don't need to go on wilderness expeditions. A walk in a local park helps. Sitting under a tree helps. Even watching nature documentaries can reduce stress. Find ways to bring nature into your daily life. Here's a quick technique called Name It to Tame It. When you notice a negative thought, simply label the emotion behind it. Say to yourself, "This is anxiety," or "This is fear," or "This is frustration." This engages your prefrontal cortex. Your thinking brain observes the emotion instead of drowning in it. Research shows that naming emotions reduces their intensity. This is like how saying, "I'm feeling angry," somehow makes you feel less angry. How describing a fear out loud makes it seem smaller, and how writing in a journal helps process difficult feelings. This takes practice. You might not always catch the emotion in the moment, but over time, you'll get faster at recognizing and labeling. The gap between stimulus and response will grow, and in that gap lies your freedom. Imagine your future self, 1 year from now. You've been practicing these techniques consistently. What does your life look like? How do you feel when you wake up? Visualization isn't just daydreaming. It activates similar brain regions as actually doing the thing. Athletes use this technique to improve performance. You can use it to improve your mental state. Spend 5 minutes daily visualizing yourself as someone who manages negative thoughts well. See yourself staying calm during stress. Imagine yourself choosing positive thoughts deliberately. This is like mentally rehearsing a speech before giving it, like imagining yourself crossing the finish line while training, and like picturing a successful job interview before it happens. Sometimes negative thoughts come, and they won't go away immediately. That's okay. Fighting them too hard can make them stronger. There's a difference between acceptance and resignation. Acceptance means, I notice this thought is here. I don't have to like it or act on it. Resignation means, this thought is true and there's nothing I can do. Mindfulness meditation is about changing our relationship to thoughts, not getting rid of thoughts. Thoughts will always come. The goal is to not be controlled by them. Think of negative thoughts like weather. You can't control the weather, but you can choose how to respond. You can carry an umbrella. You can wait it out. You don't have to let a rainy day ruin your life. Use the word "and" to hold space for both negative and positive truths. You can be both hurting and grateful, both anxious and hopeful. Life is rarely all good or all bad. Black and white thinking is a cognitive distortion. Reality is usually a mix. Acknowledging this reduces the power of negative thoughts.
This is like saying, I'm scared about this interview and excited about the opportunity. Or, I'm sad my friend moved and grateful for the years we had. Or, things are hard right now and I've survived hard times before. This simple word shifts your perspective. It reminds you that negative feelings don't negate positive realities. Both can exist together. You don't have to choose. Here's a counterintuitive technique. Schedule time to worry. Give yourself permission to worry, but only during a specific time window. Pick 15 minutes each day. When worried thoughts come outside this window, tell yourself, I'll think about this during worry time. Then redirect your attention. This works because you're not suppressing the worry, you're postponing it. Your brain knows the thought will get attention later. This reduces the urgency. This is like putting non-urgent emails in a folder to address later, like writing down tasks instead of trying to remember everything, and like telling a child, we'll discuss this after dinner, instead of stop asking. When negative thoughts overwhelm you, ground yourself in the present moment. Use your 5 senses. This pulls your attention away from internal worry and into external reality. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This is like when anxiety starts spiraling and you focus on your feet touching the floor, when your mind races and you describe objects around you, and when you're overwhelmed and splash cold water on your face. Grounding interrupts the thought spiral. It brings you back to here and now. Negative thoughts are almost always about the past or future. The present moment is usually okay. Keep a journal specifically for evidence against your negative beliefs. When good things happen, even small ones, write them down. Your brain has a negativity bias. It remembers bad things better than good things. This was useful for survival, but it distorts your perception of reality now. This is like when you receive 10 compliments and 1 criticism, and the criticism plays on repeat. Or when your day was mostly fine, but you focus on the one annoying moment. The evidence journal counters this bias. Review it when negative thoughts strike. You'll see proof that life isn't all bad, that you are capable, that people do care. Facts against fiction. When you're stuck in negative thinking, taking action helps break the loop. Research suggests that exercise serves as a distraction from worries and depressing thoughts. CBT for depression often focuses on reinitiating positive activities to overcome inertia. You don't need to feel like doing something first. Do it first, and the feelings often follow. This is like going to a party you didn't want to attend and having a great time, like starting a workout you dreaded and finishing energized, and like calling a friend when you just wanted to isolate and feeling better afterward. Make a list of activities that usually improve your mood. When negative thoughts dominate, pick something from the list and do it. Don't wait for motivation. Action creates motivation. The stories we tell ourselves matter. Are you the victim of your circumstances or the hero overcoming challenges? Same events, different meanings. Negative thoughts can create a vicious cycle where negative thinking patterns worsen symptoms, leading to increased feelings of hopelessness. The story you tell reinforces itself. Notice the narrative you're creating. Are you using words like always, never, can't? These absolute terms trap you. Try softer language. Sometimes, haven't yet, learning to. This is like changing I always fail at diets to I'm learning what works for my body, or nobody understands me, to some people understand me better than others, or I can't handle stress, to I'm developing better stress management.
How do you talk to yourself when you make a mistake? Most people are brutal. They say things to themselves they would never say to a friend. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer others. Research shows that practicing gratitude helps manage negative emotions like guilt and shame. When you catch yourself in harsh self-talk, pause. Ask, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Then say that to yourself instead. This is like when a friend fails an exam and you say, it's okay, you'll do better next time, instead of, you're so stupid.
You deserve the same compassion you give others. Research shows that individuals with a growth mindset exhibit greater resilience to stress and improved mental health. They see challenges as opportunities to learn, not proof of failure. A fixed mindset says, "I'm bad at this." A growth mindset says, "I'm not good at this yet." That single word changes everything. It implies change is possible. Watch your language. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." Replace "I failed" with "I discovered what doesn't work." These aren't just positive affirmations. They're accurate descriptions of how growth actually happens. This is like how every expert was once a beginner, how every successful person has a collection of failures behind them, and how babies learning to walk fall down hundreds of times before succeeding. Rumination is dangerous. Going over the same thoughts again and again. Research shows this pattern is a predictor of depression and anxiety. When you catch yourself ruminating, use an interrupt. Stand up and move. Splash water on your face. Say "stop" out loud. Change your physical state to change your mental state. Set a timer when thinking through problems. 15 minutes maximum. When the timer rings, you must do something else. This prevents spiraling. This is like having a circuit breaker that prevents electrical overload, like a fire alarm that interrupts danger before it spreads, and like an exit door when you need to leave a bad situation. Many negative thoughts are based on assumptions, not facts. We assume we know what others think. We assume the worst outcome is most likely. When you notice a negative thought, ask, "Is this a fact or an assumption? Can you prove it? Or are you guessing?" This is like when you think, "My boss is mad at me because they didn't smile, but maybe they're just having a hard day." Or when you think, "That presentation was terrible because you stumbled once, but maybe nobody noticed." Most negative assumptions are wrong. We're not mind readers. We can't predict the future. Treating assumptions as facts causes unnecessary suffering. Sometimes negative thoughts revolve around specific fears. Avoiding these fears strengthens them. Gradual exposure weakens them. CBT for panic disorder includes desensitization to triggers that provoke anxiety. You face fears in small doses. This teaches your brain that the feared situation is survivable. Start small. If social situations trigger negativity, begin with a brief phone call, then a short coffee meeting, then a longer gathering. Build tolerance gradually. This is like how swimmers get used to cold water by wading in slowly, how public speakers start with small audiences, and how fears lose power the more often you face them. When anxiety spirals, ask, "What's the worst that could realistically happen?" Then ask, "Could I survive that?" Usually the answer is yes. We often catastrophize. We imagine apocalyptic outcomes. But when we actually examine the worst case, it's rarely as bad as our imagination. This is like worrying you'll die of embarrassment, but nobody actually dies from embarrassment. Or fearing rejection will destroy you, but rejection is survivable. After identifying the worst case, ask, "What's the most likely outcome?" It's probably somewhere in the middle. Not perfect, but not catastrophic. This perspective reduces anxiety. You don't have to do this alone. Enhanced social support creates a buffer against depressive symptoms. The right people can help lift you when you're down. Identify 2 or 3 trusted people. Tell them what you're working on. Ask if they can check in occasionally. Having accountability makes success more likely. Be selective. Not everyone is helpful. Some people amplify negativity. Choose people who are supportive without being dismissive of your struggles. If you don't have supportive people nearby, seek out groups. Support groups, exercise classes, online communities. Connection reduces loneliness. Loneliness feeds negative thinking. Break the isolation. Sometimes self-help isn't enough. Research shows that combining CBT with counseling carries greater benefits than counseling alone. Professional guidance accelerates progress. Therapists can identify patterns you might miss. They offer tools specific to your situation. There's no shame in getting help. If negative thoughts seriously interfere with your daily life, consider professional support. CBT has been proven effective for depression, anxiety, and many other conditions. Think of it like physical health. You'd see a doctor for persistent physical pain. Mental pain deserves the same attention. Getting help is a sign of strength, not weakness. For some people, medication helps. Research shows that combining CBT with medication is more effective than either alone for chronic depression. Don't dismiss this option. Medication isn't magic. It doesn't change your circumstances, but it can quiet the brain enough for other techniques to work. This isn't for everyone. Discuss with a doctor. Weigh benefits and side effects. Make an informed decision based on your situation. There's no right answer that applies to everyone. Some people need medication temporarily, some long-term, some never. What matters is finding what works for you. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small daily habits compound into major changes over time. Build a daily mental health routine. A sample routine. Morning gratitude journaling, 5 minutes. Midday breathing exercise, 2 minutes. Evening meditation, 10 minutes. Walk, 30 minutes. Total, under an hour spread throughout the day. This is like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and declare your teeth clean forever. You do it daily because maintenance matters. Start with one habit, master it, then add another. Trying to change everything at once usually leads to changing nothing. Slow and steady wins this race. What gets measured gets improved. Track your mood. Track your practices. Notice patterns over time. Use a simple rating system. Rate your mood from 1 to 10 each morning and evening. Note what you did that day. After a month, you'll see what helps and what doesn't. This is like keeping a food diary to understand eating patterns, like tracking workouts to see fitness progress, and like monitoring expenses to understand spending. Don't expect linear progress. You'll have good days and bad days. The goal is an upward trend over months, not perfection every day. Zoom out to see the bigger picture. You will have setbacks, days when negative thinking takes over, days when you don't practice your techniques. This is normal. Research shows that exercise group members had lower depression rates at 10-month follow-up, suggesting maintaining practices matters. The key is getting back on track, not being perfect. This is like how every successful diet includes some slip-ups, how every exercise program has missed days, and how every meditation practice has restless sessions. When you fall off, don't add self-criticism to the problem. Simply begin again. Each moment is a fresh start. What matters is the overall pattern, not isolated failures. Acknowledge your progress. Every time you catch a negative thought, win. Every time you replace it with something better, win. Every minute of meditation, win. Your brain learns through reinforcement. Dopamine is released when we express gratitude, reinforcing the behavior. Use this mechanism intentionally. Reward yourself for mental health efforts. Keep a wins list. Write down every small victory. Review it when you feel discouraged, proof that you're making progress. This is like giving yourself a gold star for completing tasks, like acknowledging every pound lost on a weight loss journey, and like celebrating every milestone toward a big goal. Your surroundings affect your thoughts. Cluttered spaces often create cluttered minds. Dark rooms often darken moods. Organize your environment to support your mental health. Create a calm corner in your home. This is where you meditate, journal, or simply breathe. Keep it clean. Make it inviting. Having a dedicated space reinforces the habit. This is like how gyms have equipment that makes working out easier, how libraries create focus through design, and how spas use ambiance to promote relaxation. Small changes help. Open curtains for natural light. Add a plant. Reduce visual clutter. Your environment speaks to your subconscious mind constantly. Make it say positive things. As you change, your relationships change. When you're less negative, people enjoy being around you more. Conversations improve, conflicts decrease. Expressing gratitude strengthens social bonds by fostering feelings of connection, trust, and mutual appreciation. Your mental health work benefits everyone around you. This is like how one person's good mood can brighten a whole room, how calm parents raise calmer children, and how positive leaders create positive workplaces. You're not just helping yourself, you're modeling better mental health for others. Your growth creates permission for others to grow too. The ripple spreads outward. Think in terms of years, not days. Meditation's benefits compound over 6 to 12 months of consistent practice. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Imagine yourself 3 years from now. You've been practicing these techniques regularly. What's different? How has your relationship with negative thoughts changed? With daily practice, pessimism can turn to optimism thanks to the neuroplasticity of the brain. Your brain literally rewires itself. But rewiring takes time. Be patient with yourself. Trust the process. The science is clear. These methods work. They just need time to work. Let me give you a clear action plan. Here's exactly what to do. Daily. Gratitude journal, 3 items, 2 minutes. Deep breathing, 3 rounds, 1 minute. Movement, walk or exercise, 30 minutes minimum. Catch and challenge one negative thought. Weekly. Longer meditation session, 15 to 20 minutes. Review your evidence journal. Connect with a supportive person. Spend time in nature. As needed. Use thought replacement when negative thoughts intrude. Use grounding techniques during anxiety. Use the worst-case scenario check when worrying. Practice self-compassion after mistakes. Don't try to be perfect. Perfectionism feeds negative thinking. Progress, not perfection. Don't expect instant results. The mental health benefits of gratitude writing become even larger 12 weeks after starting. Give it time. Don't isolate when struggling. Reach out to others. Don't compare your progress to others. Your journey is your own. And don't use these techniques to suppress emotions. Feel what you feel, then choose your response. Suppression backfires. Processing works. Sometimes these methods aren't enough. If negative thoughts persist despite consistent effort, there may be underlying causes. Medical conditions, trauma, hormone imbalances, and other factors can fuel negativity. These need professional attention, not just self-help techniques. If high levels of stress are disrupting your life, seek help from an experienced mental health professional. This isn't failure, it's wisdom. Think of these techniques as the foundation. Sometimes you need specialists to address specific issues. Both approaches can work together. Let's recap the science. Negative thinking raises cortisol. Cortisol damages the brain. But meditation, exercise, and gratitude can reverse this damage. CBT is effective for depression, anxiety, and many other conditions. Exercise can be as effective as medication for depression. Gratitude rewires the brain toward positivity. This isn't wishful thinking. This is neuroscience. Brain scans prove it. Clinical trials prove it. You have the power to change your brain. Armed with this knowledge, you can take control. Your negative thoughts don't define you. They're patterns that can be changed. Start seeing yourself differently. You're not someone who has negative thoughts. You're someone who is learning to manage their mind. A growth mindset embraces challenges and learning, leading to greater resilience. Apply this to your mental health journey. Every challenge is a chance to practice. Every negative thought is an opportunity to strengthen your skills. Reframe the journey itself. You've watched this entire video. That shows commitment. That shows you want change. Now take what you've learned and use it. Your future self will thank you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today, right now. Take one action from this video within the next hour. Write 3 things you're grateful for. Take a 5-minute walk. Practice deep breathing for 2 minutes. Do the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. Any action is better than no action. Research consistently shows these methods work, but they only work if you do them. Knowledge without action changes nothing. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve freedom from constant negativity. You have the tools now. Go use them.